How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Another garden vlog for you today, or what we're going to be tackling. My sunflowers are in dire need of some better reinforcements. We have some bad weather coming tonight and the next few days. Really windy, so I went ahead and got some red fiberglass stakes from Lowe's. And also, because sunflowers are such heavy feeders, I went ahead and got some manure from a local farmer. I'm going to dilute it. I'm going to use a PVC pipe to stick it in the ground and get them fed. So it's very windy, so I don't know how much I'll be talking. Probably voice over some of it. So let's get started. Alrighty, now like I said before, it's super windy outside. These sunflowers are my Mammoth Russian sunflowers. And if you see down there on the right, you can see some little new greenage or foliage. Those are supposed to be the teddy bear sunflower. I found those seeds randomly at the store and figured I might as well get them. So as you see, I am up on my stool, and that's where I bend my fiberglass rod that I just got. These are about 6 feet long from Lowe's. They're about $8 to $10 a piece. I got a good handful of them because I have some more sunflowers I'm growing this year, and I want to make sure I'm well prepared. And we have some bad weather coming, so I want to make sure these guys are doing pretty well as far as make sure they're standing straight up with no issues and they're not going to fall down. Now this rod, I'm only going to put it in about 1.5 feet deep into the soil so that it has enough to keep it straight, but also allows a little bit of movement with the plant. That way it still grows the roots it needs to stay strong and stay straight, and it's not relying on this rod itself. Now I'm going to go ahead and get some string, like all my other plants I tie up. Just carpenter string, a few bucks over at Lowe's for a whole roll. I'm just going to get that tied up in a few good spots. Right about here, I was struggling because I cut it too short, but I still wanted to use the piece of string because I didn't really want to waste it. So I'm going to mess with that for a while, and then it gets pretty windy and the plants start getting a little crazy on me. You can see in that front plant right there how it's bent over, and the reason for that is the bamboo stick I was using had a slight bend to it, and I was trying to get the sunflower to go away from that stick, so I had the bent part facing away when I was tying it off, but it seemed to twist back around, so now that sunflower has a little bit of a curve in it because it's been growing with that stake. So I'm hoping that with these new ones, I can go ahead and make them straighter again. One of my sunflowers had a really bad bend in it that I have slowly started to straighten back out over the last few weeks. So that was good to see, because I'm really hoping these get between 6 and 10 feet tall. If it gets above 10 feet tall, I'll be super excited because then I can keep the seeds and I have some decent genetics for next year. Alright, then I just went ahead and sped up this next part of me getting the other ones here. Now, really what I should have done when these were growing is I should have separated them out. However, I planted like 100 seeds in here because last year I had no luck at all growing sunflowers. So now that I've actually grown them, I am now in fight or flight mode on trying to get them spaced out, see if I can separate them with posts at different angles, and get all that taken care of the best I can. So now we are on the back side where I have some shorter ones. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. I'm going to get up there, see which way it's going, and kind of get that facing the right direction and get it tied off as well. Alrighty, now here we get into some fun. I got some manure from the local farmer. Went ahead and mixed some of that up into a bucket. Now I did quite a bit of research on this because I wanted to make sure I do this right the first time, and I don't want to overpower any of my plants with the liquid manure, because normally at the end of the season I cover the garden beds in manure and cardboard, and then by the time spring comes around I till it all together and the garden does super well. Last year I did not do that, and it is starting to show. So here I got my PVC stick. I'm stirring it up really well. the other end of this stick that is in the liquid manure does have a bunch of holes drilled in it to act kind of like a diffuser. So I'm getting that mixed in well. About this is the moment where I decided that this might be a little too thick. And when I looked it back up, it said it needs to be almost like a tea consistency, like a tea brown. So I'm just gonna keep filling that bucket up to the top here, keep it stirring. And then I've decided to go ahead and put it in another bucket because I need to dilute it once more. All right, so here I have another bucket, and I'm only going to pour a little bit of that in there. From what I read online, you want to do pretty much 10 parts water, 1 part of the slurry that you make. These buckets are only like 3-gallon buckets, so I wanted to try to fill this up as far as possible to get the color I was looking for. And luckily, I was able to achieve that. So as we keep going here, I'm just going to keep trying to stir it up, agitate that water to the best I can. I will remind you during this entire process, there was quite the stench coming from the garden and these buckets. So luckily, I didn't have any neighbors outside or family members that were out trying to see what was going on, because I'm sure they would have thought I was crazy for doing this in the garden. All right, and here comes the fun part. I'm going to go over to my sunflowers, and you don't want to put it at the base of any of your plants. You want to make sure you get it down in those roots. So I'm pushing that PVC pipe pretty far deep into the soil, taking my my cup there, filling it up with that slurry mixture, and I'm going to pretty much fill up that PVC pipe all the way up into that funnel until it starts to go down. I'm going to do it a few more times. Now, I think in total in this bed, I did it quite a few times. I did it a few times off camera as well. So we're going to go ahead and speed this part up where I go through the garden bed or the sunflower bed and get all this in. I do need to go through here and weed this area. However, I only weed every other day. So Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I weed the garden. So tomorrow I'll be doing that. Alright, and to give you guys a quick look to see what I'm working with. Pretty simple, pretty self-forward. You're just putting some that mixture in that funnel, letting the water go down, and then as it fills up, that soil will get moist obviously, and you can push that thing down. And of course, since I've made too much of this mixture, I couldn't just let my sunflowers eat it or consume it. So I went ahead and hit up all of my bucket peppers. Most of these are either cayenne or the cherry peppers from Bonnie. I do have some of their red hots, I believe what they're called, or red ghost, in some of these buckets. So I just went through, and I didn't do a whole lot just because these were fertilized a few weeks ago. So I just did like about a cup, maybe a cup and a half worth. And some of the smaller ones, I did a little bit extra to see if we can go ahead and get that production boosted. So I'm going to finish these up here, and while I'm doing this, I make sure I'm covering up the holes that I did put this in as well to make it so there's not just an open hole straight down to the root ball. And just like that, we got our peppers fertilized here. And then I'm going to go through and hit up the ones that are in the garden bed as well. The peppers in this bed are mostly your bell peppers, banana peppers. I believe there is a few Judas in here, and then also some jalapenos and habaneros. A lot of the pepper plants I have are going to be used for hot sauces or cowboy candy, so I did make sure to get a really good variety. This was a little dry. I didn't water it yesterday. I was going to water it after I got all of this completed here. That way all of those nutrients are already down in the soil and they're not going to float back up to the top. Alrighty guys, well that is it for today's video. We got everything put together and fertilized with the homemade cow liquid manure. Hope you guys have a great day. See you next time.